Welcome back to the whiteboard, Liam. Let us do this again.
Appreciate that, Erica. Okay, I have a study approach for this that really helped me. Let me share. Here is a hard truth about the CISSP. The most common reason people fail is not that they did not study enough. It is that they studied the wrong way.
That is exactly right, Liam. The CISSP is not a test of how many facts you can memorize. It is a test of how you think about security problems at the leadership level.
I have seen this pattern repeatedly in the field. Candidates grind through technical flashcards for months, then hit the exam and get destroyed by questions that test how they would advise a board of directors. Two completely different skills.
So what does the exam actually ask? It frames security problems from the perspective of a senior manager or a CISO. Not a firewall engineer, not a security operations center analyst, a decision maker who has to weigh risk, cost, and organizational impact.
In this video, we are going to walk through exactly how to study for the CISSP the right way. We cover the official resources, the best third-party tools, how long to realistically expect this to take, and how to know when you are actually ready to sit the exam.
And I want to be clear about something upfront, Liam. This is not a credential where you can shortcut your way through with a brain dump or a question memorization service. The CAT adaptive format specifically defeats those approaches. You cannot game it, you have to actually understand the material.
The mindset shift we are about to describe in Scene 2 is the single most important thing in this video. If you get that right, everything else clicks into place. Let us get into it.
Quick intros before we jump in.
Good to be in the co-host seat for a change. Let us have some fun with this.
Hello, I'm George. This one brings back memories for me.
Isabella here, really glad to be digging into this with everyone.
Good to have everyone's. Here we go.
The single most commonly cited piece of advice from CISSP passers is this: think like a manager. Not a technician, not a hacker, not a systems administrator. A manager.
Let me give you a concrete example of what this means. You get a question about a server that has an unpatched critical vulnerability. The technically correct answer might be to patch it immediately, but the managerial answer might be to assess the business impact first, check for compensating controls, and get stakeholder approval before touching a production system.
Both actions address the problem, but only one of them reflects how an accountable senior practitioner thinks. CISSP wants the accountable answer, the one that considers risk, process, and organizational context.
This is why people with purely technical backgrounds sometimes struggle on the CISSP, George. They are optimizing for technical correctness when the exam is grading on managerial soundness.
Exactly, and the risk management lens compounds this. The CISSP exam almost always wants you to identify the risk, assess its impact, and respond with a proportionate control, not with the most aggressive technical fix available. Overkill is wrong on this exam.
There is also a related trap worth naming: overstudying technical content while understudying management concepts. A lot of IT professionals are comfortable with architecture and networking domains, so they spend most of their time there. But Domain 1, security and risk management, is 16% of the exam. It is the heaviest domain. That is where the manager mindset lives most clearly.
So as you study, practice reading every question through this filter. Ask yourself, what would a seasoned CISO present to the CEO in this situation? That mental reframe will correct more wrong answers than any amount of technical review.
Before getting into the third-party ecosystem, you need to know what the official CISSP resources are. These are the materials written to the exam outline. They are the ground truth.
The CISSP official study guide, called the OSG, is the primary textbook. The 10th edition aligns to the current exam outline. It is long, over 1,000 pages, and dense. It is not meant to be read cover to cover in one sprint. Treat it as a reference, not a novel. Use it to go deep when you need to understand the why behind a concept.
Paired with the OSG is the official practice tests book. This is where the real training happens. The ISC squared practice questions are calibrated to the style and difficulty level of the actual exam. If you can consistently score well on those questions, that is a meaningful signal.
Candidates often overlook the Candidate Information Bulletin, the CIB. It is a free PDF from ISC Squared that details exactly what is on each domain, the task statements being tested, and the knowledge required. Read it before you write a single flashcard. It tells you what the exam actually cares about.
ISC Squared also offers self-paced online courses and a learning platform with built-in flashcard tools. These are useful for structured learners who want more guidance than a textbook alone provides. They map directly to the exam outline, no translation required.
Right after this, we cover the third-party resources. And honestly, many candidates find those just as valuable, sometimes more so for understanding the manager mindset we talked about. Stick around for that.
The official materials give you the foundation. The third-party ecosystem helps you understand it. There is a meaningful difference between those two things, and the best candidates use both.
Destination certification has become one of the most recommended free resources in the CISSP community. Their domain mind map videos on YouTube are free, and they are excellent at building conceptual understanding rather than just listing facts.
Thor Teaches on Udemy is another frequently cited resource. Video lectures that explain the thinking behind the material, not just the content. Watch for Udemy sales. The course sometimes drops to under $20.
For practice question banks, Boston XSIM Max is the gold standard. The questions are hard, deliberately harder than the actual exam, which is exactly what you want in a practice tool. CC Cure is another solid option with a large question bank and good explanations.
Do not underestimate the community resources, Isabella. The ISC Squared community forums are full of candidates at every stage, and the Reddit r/CISSP community has thousands of experience reports from people who just passed, what worked, what did not, how they felt walking in. That kind of direct peer input is irreplaceable.
The key with third-party materials is to use them to deepen understanding, not as a replacement for the official content. If a concept in the OSG is not clicking, find a third-party explanation. Do not just skip it and hope it does not show up.
Let us talk about the realistic time investment. The most common range you will see cited is 3 to 6 months of preparation and 200 to 400 hours of study time.
Those are wide ranges for a reason, Isabella. Where you land depends almost entirely on your existing background. Someone coming in with a decade of enterprise security experience might need 3 months. Someone crossing over from a non-security IT role might need closer to 6 months or more.
I would add a word of caution here. The candidates I have seen fail after a short prep window usually underestimated how much of the CISSP material requires conceptual synthesis, not just reading and recalling, but genuinely changing how you approach security problems.
The consistency point is genuinely important. 2 to 3 hours per day over 4 months outperforms 8 hours on a Saturday followed by nothing for a week. The material requires repetition and reflection. Your brain needs sleep cycles to consolidate it.
Build a schedule before you start studying. Map out your domains, assign study weeks, and build in review weeks before your exam date. If you do not have a schedule, you do not have a study plan, you just have good intentions.
And do not book the exam the day you start studying. Book it for a date that is far enough out to complete your full study plan. Having the date on the calendar creates urgency and accountability that free-form studying never produces.
One of the most debated questions in CISSP study communities is whether to study domain by domain or take an integrated approach from the start.
The domain by domain approach is exactly what it sounds like. You take Domain 1, study it completely, do domain questions, then move to Domain 2, and so on. It is structured, it maps to the OSG directly, and it is easy to track your progress.
The problem with staying pure domain by domain all the way through is that the CISSP exam does not think in domain silos. Questions often blend Domain 1 risk thinking with Domain 3 architecture choices or Domain 6 testing requirements with Domain 8 development practices. Erica, you have seen this play out with candidates.
Exactly, George. Candidates who studied one domain at a time but never practiced across domains get caught off guard by the integrated nature of actual exam questions. The material connects, your studying needs to eventually connect too.
The approach most experienced CISSP coaches recommend is what I would call a two-phase model. Phase 1, domain-by-domain learning through the OSG and reference materials. Phase 2, integrated practice questions across all domains simultaneously. You build the knowledge blocks first, then practice applying them together.
Simple summary: learn by domain, test by everything. If your practice sessions only pull from the domain you just studied, you are not simulating the real exam, you are just confirming what you already know.
Let me tell you the single biggest mistake candidates make with practice questions. They chase volume. They want to say they did 2,000 questions before the exam. The number is meaningless if you are not learning from each one.
The right habit is this: for every question you get wrong, stop and read the full explanation. Not just the right answer, why the other 3 options are wrong. That is where the learning happens.
And do not skip that review on correct answers either. If you got it right but you are not completely sure why, stop and read. Guessing your way to the right answer is not learning. George, you want to add to that?
Yes, and this connects to the memorization trap. If you are seeing the same question pool repeatedly, you can start recognizing question stems rather than actually reasoning through the problem. Rotate your question sources. Use at least 2 different banks to keep the phrasing fresh.
A sustainable volume target is somewhere around 150 to 200 questions per week during active study. That is roughly 30 questions per session 5 days a week. Small enough to review thoroughly, consistent enough to build exam stamina over time.
The key insight here is that practice questions are not a finishing activity. They are a diagnostic tool throughout your entire study plan. They tell you which domains need more time and which mental frameworks are not fully formed yet.
The final question every candidate asks is, how do I know when I am ready? It is the right question to ask, and the honest answer is that there is no magic number or perfect score that guarantees success.
What the community consensus points to is this: aim for 70 to 75% consistency on full-length practice exams, not one good session, but several in a row. That sustained performance across a full exam window is more predictive than a single peak score.
Domain consistency matters as much as your overall score. If you are averaging 75% overall, but you are only hitting 45% on software development security, you have a gap that the CAT exam will find. The adaptive engine zeroes in on weak areas.
There is a real danger on the other end too, overstudying. I have seen candidates spend a year grinding material past the point of useful preparation. At some point, the returns diminish, and you start second-guessing correct instincts. If you have hit the consistency target, book the exam.
The readiness signal that I think matters most is this: the managerial thinking style should feel natural, not forced. When you read a scenario and the manager framing kicks in automatically, when you stop feeling the pull toward the technical answer, that is when you are in the right headspace for this exam.
Here is what I want you to take away from this video. The CISSP rewards a different kind of intelligence than most exams you have taken before. It rewards judgment, proportionality, and the ability to think at the organizational level.
Remember this one thing if nothing else: the CISSP is not a knowledge test, it is a judgment test. Study toward developing judgment, not accumulating facts, and you will be ready for exactly what the exam is asking.
What was the most surprising mindset shift you had to make when you were studying for the CISSP? Drop your answer in the comments. I read everyone, and those real-world perspectives help future candidates more than you might realize.
All right, quiz time. Let's find out what stuck. Think through each question carefully before you answer.
Drop a like if we earned it, and subscribe so you never miss the next episode.
Which mindset is most important for answering CISSP exam questions correctly? The correct answer is A. Think like a senior security manager weighing risk and business impact.
When reviewing a practice question, you answered correctly. What is the most valuable next step? The correct answer is A. Read the explanation to confirm exactly why the correct answer is right and why the others are wrong.
A candidate has been studying for 5 months and is scoring 72% consistently across all 8 domains on full-length practice exams. What is the most appropriate next step? The correct answer is C. Schedule the exam. Consistent performance across all domains at that level is a readiness indicator.
And that wraps up our quiz. Let us bring it back to the core message of this video. The CISSP does not reward how much you memorized. It rewards how well you can think through a security problem from an organizational leadership perspective.
Use the official ISC squared study guide and practice tests as your foundation. Layer in destination certification, and Thor teaches to build deeper conceptual understanding. Engage with the community on Reddit and the ISC squared forums. Those candidates who just passed know things that no textbook covers.
Plan for 3 to 6 months. Study consistently. A little every day beats marathon sessions once a week. And when your practice exam scores are consistently in the 70 to 75% range across all 8 domains, book the date. You are ready.
Coming up next in this series, we go deeper into the 8 CISSP domains, what each one actually covers, how it is weighted on the exam, and what you should prioritize in each. That video directly builds on everything we covered here today.
One final thing worth saying. The CISSP community is genuinely supportive. The people who have passed remember how hard this was and they want to help. Use them. Post in r/CISSP. Ask questions on the ISC squared forums. Find a study partner. You do not have to do this alone.
Keep connecting the dots. See you next time.
Not bad, Liam. I would give that a solid 8 out of 10. Professor Erica, signing off.